All right, everyone, we are going live. Welcome, everyone, to the Global Youth Challenge 2020 Finals. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the viewers watching around the world in all the different time zones. My name is James Rice, and I will be your host today. Thank you for joining us today. It is a great pleasure to have all of you with us. All right, so we opened the challenge to high school students around the world, and we have been overwhelmed with responses, with over 600 challengers from around the world. It's fantastic. So we're just going to, thank you so much. Just having a few, this is live, so we're going to have some difficulties as we get through it all. So thank you to all of the challengers who are here today for their tremendous effort. We are so inspired by your work. The goal of the Global Youth Challenge is to inspire students around the world to reflect, think, and consider how COVID-19 pandemic has affected the world. And the voice of today's youth is needed now more than ever. Students were asked to submit an essay or an artwork plus a video, and we wanted them to reflect on and share their thoughts and feelings about how COVID-19 has affected them and will affect them in the future. We have narrowed down 17 challengers for our judges to consider, and it was a really difficult job. So before we bring out the challengers for you to meet, let's take a moment and let's meet our judges. All right. So first up, let's say hello to Kelly Schultz from University of Waterloo. Kelly.
Good morning. This is it's a great pleasure to be here with everyone this morning in my time zone, and I'm really looking forward to hearing everybody articulate what COVID-19 has done and how it has changed our world. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Kelly. And next, we're going to have Colin from Brock University. Hi, Colin.
Hi, everyone, and thank you to James for inviting me to judge, and especially thank you to all the students for putting in your responses. It was wonderful to read them all, and I can't wait to hear some more detail about what you have to say about the COVID-19 situation. So really happy to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Colin, so much. And next, we're going to welcome Jocelyn Joe from Yale University. Jocelyn.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and have the opportunity to be involved in such a meaningful program. And thank you so far to all the challengers for sharing your thoughts so sincerely. And I was greatly impressed by everyone. And I look forward to hearing from all you more. Good luck. Thank you.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, Jocelyn. And next, we're going to welcome Professor Yusheng Wang from Queen's University. Professor.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So I hope this good morning for people from different zones. So I echo all the judges were saying. It was wonderful to read and sort of watch the videos and the essays and cover a wide spectrum of issues right from this COVID-19 virus. But I'm looking forward to listen to your talk too. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you. And next, we're going to meet from the Arundel Academy, one of our sponsors of the Global Youth Challenge, George Vandiker. George, thank you so much for joining and helping out today.
Good morning, everybody. I'm the local judge.
Well, we just need you to unmute George. There we go. We just need George to unmute there and we can hear your message.
There we go. Okay. Struggling with the technology. So good morning, everybody. I've seen some wonderful entries already, and I'm looking forward to hearing you in person. And I am the local judge right out of Toronto. So good luck to everybody.
All right. Thank you, George. Thank you so much. Now, Avi Shifman, the phenomenal high school student who created the coronavirus update website that is called more trustworthy than the US government, is not able to be here live. He is doing some incredible work around the protests in America, but we do thank him for his time and his input. Also, everyone, you will get a chance to vote for the People's Choice. Yes, we are doing a live vote on our website, www.theglobalyouth.com. You can vote for your favorite challenger. Yes. So get online, visit the website, vote for who you think is the winner of today's Global Youth Challenge. And friends and family, you are welcome to, of course, vote for everyone. Yeah. So log on to the website and vote. And we'll try to check in from time to time to see how the voting is going. Now, we're going to move on to our challengers. And I hope everyone is ready. I know that that some of the people are worried about their hair. Okay, but I see all of the challengers. Your hair looks amazing. They haven't been able to get their hair cut, so you should get a haircut like mine, and you'll be fine. It'll be great. And we're going to be calling on our first challenger, and his name is Ashraf Kahil from Tunisia, and he wrote an essay called Invisibly Visible. And he is 18 years old, and he is going to be our first challenger. Ashraf, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ashraf Khalil. You surely know who I am, otherwise I wouldn't be here with you guys. And before continuing my typical presentation, I'd like to thank the judges, which I find way more important than anything. I mean, I want to show you gratitude for the great efforts you made. Reviewing hundreds of applications must have been really, really tiring and exhausting. You must have spent a lot of time in front of your devices, trying your best to choose and be fair with all of us. So I want to thank you. You allowed me to be one of the top 16, and that my humble work satisfied you and made it to the finals. Sincerely, thank you. So, as I told you, my name is Ashraf Khalil. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Tunisia. Officially, the Republic of Tunisia. It is located in North Africa. Tunisia is not a developed country, yet it became among the few ones who could defeat the virus. Bit by bit, life is coming back to normal in here. I'm also lucky enough to be born in its south. Kibili is my hometown. Actually, this is one of our traditional clothes. This remote city is like a vast desert, but full of treasures. You know, palm trees, golden delicious dates, but also ambitious young minds, like mine. So since the outbreak, Kibili became one of the most infected places here in Tunisia. Yet, we had control over the virus. We could overcome like 90% of it. So that's really awesome, regardless of the humble potential we possessed. Actually, that was one of the reasons I decided to participate in it. But more importantly, living in this deserted place and competing in such an international competition has been a challenge itself for me. You know, since in our city, we don't get to compete in a lot of national competition, let alone the international ones. It's like we're in a forgotten land. We have to develop our skills and talents all by ourselves. That's sad, I know, fortunately. So, thanks to my participation in the English Club and cooperation with Wanderlust Center, I had a chance to hear about this challenge. And me winning this does not only mean I get to win, it means that everybody who wishes to have a chance to express his capabilities, his talents, gets to win. It means that everyone here in Kibili gets to win. It means that we get to prove to ourselves and to others that we are not inferior to anyone, that we are all talented, we are all capable, we just need a chance to prove it. We all do. and thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ashraf. That is a very inspiring message. I'm sure it has affected us greatly. And I thank you for your time and your effort in the challenge. And we're going to get our judges now to ask, we're going to have two judges ask one question each to each challenger. And we're going to start off with Jocelyn. Jocelyn, would you like to ask Ashraf a question?
Yes, of course. First, thank you for presenting. And of the finalists, yours was the only piece that was a fictional story. So my question is, what inspired you to write a fictional story, especially from the perspective of the future, rather than a more traditional essay?
Actually, I've always been a big fan of science fiction movies and series. I've watched a lot of them. So, you know, The 100, Stranger Things, Dark, a lot of them. So when I decided to write this story, I had to combine both reality and fiction related to what's happening in my city and in the world. And I tried to imagine how life is going to be in the future in 2080, where coronavirus still exists.
All right. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. Thank you. Yeah, it was a fictional script. It was quite interesting. And next, we're going to ask Kelly Schultz from the University of Waterloo for a question for Ashraf.
Good morning. Thank you, Ashraf. That was a great story to kick off this this challenge. I wanted to know, what are your thoughts if that is the future, that we all have to wear our own shell?
Well, I think we have to be optimistic. We have to think that we still can find the treatment, that we are all capable to overcome all. And
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Ashraf, so much. That is very, very helpful and wonderful. And next, we're going to welcome Fanny Valisalo from Sweden. Fanny is going to be presenting about the impact of COVID-19 on her lifestyle. And she is 14 years old. So Fanny, thank you so much for submitting to us on the challenge. And judges, Professor Wang and Colin, you will be asking the questions next. So if we can be ready for that. All right, Fanny, the floor is yours. Good luck. Okay, Fanny, we just need you on mute. You are on mute there. There you go. Go ahead.
I'm Fanny Valisalo, and I'm from Stockholm, Sweden. And before I begin my presentation, I have to say my earnest thank you to all the judges for all your efforts in this contest. I really appreciate it. So I entered this contest out of interest, but one thing that really pointed out to me was the open question of the prompt, because we're still in the middle of the pandemic. We don't know what the outcome or the aftermath is going to be. So that's why this competition is really important, because we need to gather all the young minds together to brainstorm the outcome of the effect of the pandemic. There's no right or wrong answer that we know of now. And if we're able to predict a possible or a likely outcome, maybe we can be prepared. And thus, I actually got to know a lot more about the pandemic myself. And I chose to do my essay and video on comparing the lifestyles of the majority of the world that is in lockdown and Sweden that's not even open borders, no quarantine or no lockdown. So in my essay, I analyzed the solution's positive effects, negative effects, and why Sweden is able to do this and what kinds of characteristics a country must have in order to consider implementing the solution. And I chose to do a video because, well, first of all, we were asked to do a video, and it shows life in Sweden the best because it's a video, it's a visual, it's clear-cut evidence of life in Sweden. So that's what I chose. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Fanny, so much. And her video, it was about life in Sweden. So it was fascinating. We're going to ask Professor Wang to start with a question for Fanny. Professor.
Hi, Fanny. It was very enjoyable to read your essay as well as watching the video, knowing the true aspect of life in Sweden under these circumstances. So I'm just, I enjoy reading the pros and cons of two strategies. I'm just wondering, what's your thoughts on, afterwards, say Sweden's successful, and then there's some of the neighboring countries taking different strategies. And then when it comes to the second wave of this, when one population has immunity, another one doesn't. So what's your thought on what's going to happen when the two populations are going to interact?
And you mean the two populations of like who are herd immunized and who are not?
That's right.
Well, my thoughts on it are, this is actually a very interesting question. Thank you. I think that when these two populations meet, one is herd immunized and one is not. So it's gonna go the herd immunized are probably gonna take over here. So meaning probably the population that's not herd immunized will become herd immunized, because I mean it's best for all of us if we can like put this virus and continue living our lives, even if it's in the middle of our lives, kind of thing.
Thank you, Fanny. That was a tough question, Professor. Wow, that was a good one. Yeah, that was a hard one, Fanny. You did great. Well done. All right. Next, we'll ask Colin from Brock University. Colin.
Yeah, hi, Fanny. I really like your video. You certainly had a flair for the dramatic in your video. You seemed very comfortable. I like the positivity you brought to your video. So in your video, you talked about how the Swedish approach brings more trust among the people of Sweden. I'm hoping you can elaborate on that. I really want you to dig deeper and explain why, or maybe how, this Swedish approach brings or improves the trust between Swedish people and improves the trust between Swedish people and the government, like the institutions.
So the government institution is asking Swedish people they're not forcing people into lockdown. They're not forcing people to do anything that's like they don't want to do. So in this case, basically Sweden's government is putting the responsibility on the Swedish citizens, which in those terms builds trust, because it's like, hey, and the government is like, hey, I can trust you with this. So just be careful for yourself, all right? And then the Swedish citizens can act on it. And if they don't feel comfortable, they can stay home. And if they feel comfortable, they can go out and continue their life in those terms.
Great, thanks.
Thank you so much, Fanny. That was fantastic. Well done. And thank you to the judges. That was also awesome. I want to just take a moment to thank Professor Heiho from OISE at the University of Toronto for her letter of support and encouragement to all of us here at the Global Youth Challenge. So we deeply appreciate that support from Professor Heiho. So next, we're going to bring on, and I'm just going to tell you that George and Kelly, be ready, judges, for the next presenter. And he's a very, very special presenter. I'm very excited to bring him on. He is Xian Lu, and he is 11 years old, our youngest competitor, and he is from China, and he has created an essay called From Ordinary to Extraordinary. All right, and there's Xian getting ready. Xian, are you ready to go? All right, all right, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening from China. I'm star Xian Liu from Kunming. Kunming is a small city compared with Beijing and Shanghai, but it's known for its mild weather all the year round. It's my honor to be here with all the contestants, and I want to say thank you to all the judges which make this competition happen. I was born in a family of doctors. My parents are both doctors. My parents' brothers and sisters are doctors. So during this COVID-19 outbreak, I found that how hard they've worked and how much they've sacrificed, and also how supportive their family have been. That's why I want to make this video out of their story. I was like a reporter. I asked questions to them and listened to their stories. My aunt is a doctor in the children's hospital. He just canceled his flight right at the airport on the eve of Spring Festival, which is the Chinese New Year. She didn't have the chance to celebrate the New Year with her son. Miss Lom is a head nurse. She has signed up for assisting Wuhan on the day of Chinese New Year. And then she worked in Wuhan for 70 days. And Wuhan is the storm center of the epidemic in China. Dr. Hui Li, he works in the infection division of a local hospital. He didn't see her daughter for months because he doesn't want to run the risk of getting his daughter infected if he gets home and hugs her. From their story, I know there are many unknown heroes in and out of China, and not every of them could be reported by media, and not every of their stories could be heard. So I want my submission to be inspiration that ordinary can be extraordinary. During this epidemic, I also learned many things. I learned to be independent, like how to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner myself, how to take care of myself, and how to keep optimistic. No matter it's an outbreak or the global competition, there won't be the last challenge in life. Instead, they're both opportunities for us to learn things for the future. Thank you.
That was amazing, Xian. Well done. Congratulations. Fantastic. You are extraordinary as the youngest competitor here to submit. Well done. Well done. And I'm going to ask George Vandeker to come on and ask a question. George.
Hello, Xian. Hello, Xian. I enjoyed watching your video. In fact, I liked it so much, I said to my wife, come and watch this video, watch this wonderful young man. So I'm wondering, what is happening at your school right now? Are you going to classes now, or are schools still closed?
Can you repeat it again? Excuse me, could you repeat it again? I didn't it's not very clear.
He was asking, go ahead, George.
Okay, so I was asking, we're getting a bit of feedback here. That's why we were muting. I was asking, what is happening at your school right now? Are you meeting with your classmates, or are you still not at school?
Because of the epidemic is the virus is almost defeated in China, and there are not many people infected in Kunming, this small city in the southwest part of China. So we're back to school and we can now meet each other. And yeah, it was a very happy but a little bit busy of school days. I really like to stay in school now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Xian. And next we'll have Kelly from the University of Waterloo. Kelly.
That was a very inspiring story that you made. It was very heartfelt, and thank you very much for sharing that. I want to know, what is the best thing that you've cooked so far?
I've met so far. The best thing, all right. Thank you for your question. I think the best thing I've met, like I've caught recently, is that I know that the people which is infected by the coronavirus is now decreasing, because at first, when my mother and father are both doctors, so if they went to hospital before, I was always very scared when I stay at home, because I don't like to be alone, and also I was very afraid that they will be affected by the virus. But later then, when I knew this is there'll be less and less people which is infected by the coronavirus, first, I will not be so scared and worried about my father and mother, because I know there will be less possibility for them to get infected. And I also knew that I can go back to school and to see my friends and my classmates, my teachers. Yeah, so I think that's the best, amazing, and the most amazing thing I've caught. Thank you.
All right, well done, Cian. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Cian, so much. And I know we all enjoyed your presentation. That was phenomenal. All right, for 11 years old, that's just amazing. What I want to do now at this point is introduce our first country champion. Yeah, so we have selected winners whose country's members are not finalists, but they did submit some amazing work. And our first country champion is from India, and Garima Sharma. So congratulations to Garima, who submitted a wonderful work from China. And we wanted to highlight that and thank her for that. All right, next we have coming up Alejandra Alejandra Lopez. And there she is. And I'm going to put her on our spotlight video. All right, Alejandra is from Mexico, and she is 16 years old, and she has written an essay called COVID-19's Repercussion on Unemployment and Little Enterprises in Puebla, Mexico. Welcome, Alejandra, and we're going to have Jocelyn and Colin ask the questions after the presentation. Go ahead, Alejandra.
Well, hello, my name is Alejandra, as James presented me. I decided to join this Global Youth Challenge because I'm kind of one of those believers that we actually can change the world and that we are the future of this world. And well, I'm pretty thankful with the judges for selecting my job. I actually did it with a lot of passion, I guess. And I would like to share the screen to show you some kind of presentation. I don't know. Well, wait a second. Do you see something?
Yes, we see your screen fine, Alejandra. Go ahead.
Great. Well, I decided to talk about the COVID-19 repercussion on little enterprises in Puebla, Mexico, because now it is affecting a lot my state and my city, and also people who are close to me. And I was really worried. I was overwhelmed with a lot of information about how numbers are affecting my city and affecting people I know. As I explained in my essay, Puebla was one of the 10 states with less unemployment on the country, and now it is one of the 12 states in Mexico with more unemployment. And I was seeing my friends or some members of my family, which have some little enterprises, that were actually suffering this situation due to quarantine. So I was thinking, how can I support? I was overwhelmed with this negative information, and I thought, what can I do for my city? What can I actually do? So I remembered that each weekend it is pretty common in Puebla to have these kind of bazaars in which all the people buy local products on weekends, but they were canceled with the quarantine. So we are always consuming throughout Instagram, and we are always seeing these kind of influencers. We're buying products. This is like the new digital marketing. So I was thinking about, why don't we use this tool we have to help these local products? So I decided to create an online bazaar in which all of the local products that I know can be promoted. So how does this idea works? First of all, it is a promotion. We publish these entrepreneurs, we contact them for them to present their products. Then there's the part where they actually the people actually gets to know these products. They can present them throughout Instagram stories, lives, posts, whatever they want. But the option is actually a live, because when you go to a bazaar, what makes you buy the things, it's like the explanation, the conversation with that person and everything. So the live transmission gives us a feeling of trustability. So that's why the lives are a good idea. And then there's the part of selling. Obviously, this idea, the creation of this website doesn't have any lucrative benefits. So it is only like the connection with these enterprises. And when you want to buy something, you go directly to the website or the Instagram account of the local business you want to buy. This is like a sample of the idea. Like these are the pictures of some of the products I consume that are local, and you can see them there, and then you can contact the website. And well, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Alejandra. That is fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you so much. We're going to have Jocelyn and Colin. So Jocelyn, can you, do you have a question for Alejandra?
Yes. First, again, thank you for speaking. And I just thought the idea of transitioning these weekend bazaars online was very interesting. So what was a challenge perhaps that you didn't expect going into this process, and what did you learn from it?
I think that the biggest challenge actually was getting to contact those entrepreneurs, since sometimes people can be like, sometimes people don't trust young people. They say like, no, that's only a joke, and they don't think that you can actually make things go on. So I think that was a challenge. And what I learned is that sometimes people won't support you, but you need to keep moving on. You need to keep your ideas, and maybe not everyone will trust you, but at the end, you really can make an impact.
All right. Thank you so much. Fantastic. And Colin is next.
Yeah, hi, Alejandra. I mean, first of all, I want to say I was so inspired by what you did. It's one thing to talk about what we can do to improve our lives during this difficult time. It's another thing to do it and take action. So I was really impressed. So, I mean, like what you've done, you've kind of moved kind of online and had this great platform to connect with people, because we can't do that in person. So my question is, do you plan to continue this even when the coronavirus is done? And maybe more broadly, do you think that's a new model for all businesses?
Well, I do think that online is a new session for some businesses. Like, I mean, I know someone that has like a business of cakes and everything, and she is telling me now that she rather keep her business online because she doesn't have to pay a rent, and she actually is doing better now. So I think I will continue with the idea. I mean, I will be like I will want to see the success of this, and if it has some great impact, I totally will continue it, and I'm thrilled to see what's going on next.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you so much, Alejandra. And I love Puebla, one of my favorite cities in Mexico, Volkswagen City as well. Congratulations. Thank you so much. And next, we're going to welcome Xin Shu Ju, English name Julia, from China. She is 16 years old, and she wrote an essay called Stand and Thrive. So, Julia, let's get you on here, and welcome to the Global Youth Challenge, and good luck.
So hello everyone. My name is Julia, and I'm very glad to be here to share my views about COVID-19 with you guys. So I joined this competition for two reasons. First, I want to broaden my horizon. It's a global competition. It provides a platform for us to learn from different people in different countries. We can really see their perspectives. And second, I want to challenge myself to step out of my comfort zone and to express my views. So the topic of my speech is Stand and Thrive, and I hope you guys will like it. As case of COVID-19 spread, our world is facing huge challenges. We're going through crude trials. Businesses are seeing major losses, and many industries are covered by the epidemic. Humanity is facing huge challenge between openness and isolation, and between progress and retrogression. Through my observation and reflection during the epidemic, it seems to me that we need to keep rational, conform to trend of history, and adapt actively to stand in such a dilemma. The COVID-19 pressed the pause button of global economy and leads to significant decrease in the capability of consumers. This gave us a chance to reconsider our consumption habits and concepts. We don't really need to derive satisfaction from overspending, nor using luxuries to express our status and individuality. In fact, many people are gradually starting to realize this. Take China as an example. According to 2020 McKinsey's China Consumer Survey report, 60% of respondents claim that they want to spend money where it matters most, even if they're wealthy. So what consumers pursue is affordable items with high cost performance and a certain quality guaranteed. This gave a chance for the expansion of enterprises that take the high quality and low price strategy, like Miniso and Nicula. They reflect on people's past consumption behavior and provide new consumption patterns. Being rational and sharp help them rise. The rapid popularization of internet has always been an important trend. And COVID-19 brought it closer to ourselves than ever before. As Sherry Tuckler, a professor of sociology of science, said that after the epidemic, we may have a healthier internet life. While the epidemic has forced many people to move their activities online life during the epidemic is more real than the state of immersing games and hiding behind virtual identity. Following this trend, many industries boomed because they see the demand of change in social operation caused by COVID-19. The most talked about lately is cloud economy, like cloud office and online education. These industries rose because they regard self-renewal as a mission and are always ready for changes. As my favorite musician, Jimmy Jin, said, we cannot change the direction of the wind, but we can always adjust ourselves to reach our destination. The situation we're in is just like the wind. We cannot be blocked by floating clouds. Instead, we must dispel the clouds and see the sun, so as to have a keen grasp of the trend of the world. Each age and generation has their own challenges and missions. As youth, it's always important to possess innovation and cautiousness. This is the best of time, it's the worst of time. Dawn is breaking, we're seeing light coming through. So this is the end of my speech. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you so much. And we're going to have Professor Wang and Kelly ask you a question. You got to be ready for that, Professor Wang. It's going to ask you a tough one. So let's start with Kelly as a warm-up. Kelly, go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you. I read in your essay that one of the recommendations that you had was access for internet for schooling and whatnot. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts are on how we can ensure that all communities have access to the internet if we're moving in that direction. I know where I'm from that there are a number of communities that don't have Wi-Fi, and so that is proving to be a little bit more difficult. So what are some of your thoughts on how we can globally move to a more internet-based community online?
Well, first, I think the government should do something, and because they need money to build these instructions, and I think that it's important to government to pay attention to these remote areas which they don't have like Wi-Fi or stuff like that. And I think it's always important to make citizens to get to know the use of internet and to know that, oh, I can use internet to know the world, to know so many places, and to broaden my horizon. And I think that they're gonna know the benefits of using internet, and they're gonna try to persuade, I don't know. And the government will have more reasons to build this like Wi-Fi or stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Julia. And now, Professor Wang, go ahead.
Not going to be tough, so don't worry about it.
I'll try.
So I guess, when you talk about to educate people, things like that, and often, have you ever had experience in dealing with generation like myself getting older, so not be able to have access, right? So what would you propose? It's almost like following up on the previous question. So what would you propose as a youngster to allow those people who have difficulties to access internet or digital world to cope with this kind of situation when like a disease like this happens again?
Yeah, I'm sorry I not get it. So it's like for older generations to use.
No, just say not necessarily older, just people who are not privileged to have internet or to have a sort of access to internet, a digital world, and how would you help them?
How would I help them?
Yeah.
Actually, I did some volunteering jobs teaching them to use basics, how to do basic works on the internet. And I think when I grow up, I will try to be a useful person to the society. And I think that I will continue doing the volunteering jobs to help others. And maybe for younger generations and for people who are able to get access to the internet and to use it like frequently. And I think that they need to help the others that are not, that have the privilege to do so. Yeah.
Okay, very well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Julia. Thank you. And you did a wonderful job. Really well done. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our next challenger. This one is from Vietnam. Her name is Linh Pham, and she is 18 years old, and she submitted a artwork presentation, which we'll show you during her presentation. And the judges are going to be Cullen and George. So please be ready, Cullen and George. And I'm happy to introduce Linh Pham. Hi, Linh.
Hello, judges. I'm Linh Pham, and my full name in Vietnam is Pham Gia Linh. I'm 18 years old, and I'm from Ho Chi Minh City. Firstly, I would like to say thank you to all of the judges here for giving me and everyone the chance to contribute our efforts to the community through this competition, the Global Youth Challenge. As you all know, a year 12 student like I am, we have lots of tests and exams coming up, and especially in Vietnam, we've already removed the restriction law against social distancing. So actually, when we get back to school, we have lots of things going on, like makeup exams and everything. So the reason I decided to enter this competition, and I try to get some free schedule out of my busy time at school, was to challenge myself and to share my personal viewpoint about COVID-19 through my drawings and speech. So about the video, I try to express my opinion on how freedom is perceived in different countries and how that mindset affects the spreading rate of COVID-19 in any particular region. And I found out that through different researching sources and news that I had heard back then, I was able to draw up like a general conclusion that most Occidental regions like the America or European countries, they tend to value more freedom than some Oriental Asian countries. About this, I'm not sure if everyone is against, someone is against this, but that's just my personal viewpoint. And I think that kind of mindset had developed like a resistance against social distancing. And that is like one of the most important factors that explain why the rate of infectious people in some Occidental regions is so high, even when the diseases originated in China, an Asian country. And in my opinion, that concept of freedom is like being twisted and overused too much as an excuse to conduct some inhumane deeds during the COVID-19 period. And I think that in this situation, reinforcing the laws for protecting the people's lives, they should not be disregarded or treated as an unfair action. As the idea of my art piece is a little bit different, it doesn't carry like political or economic meanings. It is just my concerns of how COVID-19 might affect our future lives. If we look further into the future, COVID-19 might be the beginning of all the disasters that human civilization might have to encounter. Perhaps in the future, if we don't change something, then a disease that may be even worse than COVID-19, I don't know, may strike us and destroy our entire civilization. So that is what I wanted to express through my drawings. Yeah.
Thank you, Lynn. That was very well said. Thank you so much. And I know you have many people in Vietnam watching. And, Jennifer and Albert and Curry out there from Study are watching you now and supporting us as well. So thank you to our people in Vietnam for their wonderful support of the Global Youth Challenge. We're going to move to Colin. Colin, can you do you have a question for Lynn?
Yeah, hi, Lynn. I wanted to ask a question about your artwork because, first of all, it was a great piece of art. I love these submissions. And so in your artwork, you have, this person kind of in a suit, in this lifeless planet. So, and you mentioned that could be where we're going if we don't change.
Yeah.
So what would you change? What do you think we need to change to ensure that we have a healthy planet, that we ensure we have all the factors of life that we need to sustain ourselves moving forward?
Well, I think that first we need to stop for a moment and reconsider how this disease spread. I mean, there might be some factors that are related to humans' involvement in the creation of this coronavirus. And I believe that maybe because of humans' advancement in technology and improved skills and knowledge through different periods of time, diseases as dangerous as this one can be created. And of course, technology can be supportive, can be used for a different purpose, can be used for many good reasons to help improve our lives. And if we, instead of using that technology for greed, for trying to create something that might possibly destroy our civilization, then we can use that technology to cure people, to create something better for everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lynn. That was very well said again. And we're going to move over to George. George, you have a question.
Hello, Lynn. And
Yeah.
first, your English is very good. So I wish that I could speak another language as well as you speaking English. Why did you use a piece of art to enter this contest? How would you compare art to the written word as far as getting a message across?
Well, first of all, art is, it contains abstract meanings. When we look at a piece of artwork, we can understand it in many different ways. Maybe what I'm trying to convey through my drawing is different from what you think when you look at my drawing. That's why I want to express it and see how everyone think of my art piece. Actually, my original source of idea was very simple. When I was attending a Zoom meeting where the teachers explained about Global Youth Challenge with the theme COVID-19, I saw another student who put a universe, a space background for his video screen. And when I saw that, I immediately thought of the image of an astronaut who went into space to explore the barren, lifeless planet. And at that time, because the meeting was about COVID-19, so the image of doctors and nurses will also appear in my head. And then I discovered like a slight similarity in their outer appearance, which are both astronauts and doctors are equipped with full body protection suits, gloves, boots, and helmets and everything. And then there's this thought in my mind that in the past, human can like thrive and live healthily without the use of any supporting gears. Our planet Earth is like a wonderful planet where all living beings can live together happily. And however, as time passed and there's the development of technology or skills and knowledge, things like reach a particular turning point where our life like no longer feels comfortable without those supporting gears. We cannot live without them, like literally. And so that's how I came up with the idea when I drew an astronaut standing on a lifeless planet and compared it with the doctor standing on Earth. And also in the drawing, I put a quote asking, could this be our future life? And then directed towards the lifeless planet. This is to show that, like I said before, COVID-19 might be the beginning of all the disasters that we might encounter. And I believe that all living beings bear the responsibilities and consequences created by our artificial experimenting and products. So that's what I wanted to convey through this art piece. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And we received many, many fantastic pieces of art throughout the COVID-19. And we thank all of the challengers who have submitted a piece of art. It's fascinating, great, wonderful stuff. So we're going to go on right now to do another country champion. Yes, and this time we are very happy to award Isabel Soto, the country champion of Chile. So congratulations, Isabel, for the top submission from Chile. And next, we are going to give you one more, Ansumana Bojang from Gambia, who also created some absolutely fantastic artwork. It's not artwork, but a submission rather. And thank you so much to Isabel and Ansumana for submitting, and congratulations to be the country champion. Now, what I also want to just share with everybody is some of the voting going on. And you can find the voting here at our globalyouth.com, theglobalyouth.com. And if you scroll down the screen to vote online, you can vote for your favorite challenger. You can click on there and you can see all the competitors and then click on one. We have Ashraf already in the lead early on, and you can see some more friends and families voting for people, and you can get an update on the score and who is leading in the People's Challenge. All right. So I hope that you will all vote for your People's Choice winner. Next, we're very pleased to welcome from the USA, Connor Huang. And Connor is going to be talking to us about helping small businesses with their websites for free during COVID-19. And we're going to have Colin and Kelly ask the questions, the judges. So Connor, the floor is yours. Good luck.
Hi guys, my name is Connor Huang. First off, I would just like to thank the judges for taking the time out of their day to just come and look and grade these great project submissions. So just a little bit about me. So I'm a 15-year-old from Bronxville, New York. Bronxville is just a small 1 square mile town, 30 minutes north of New York City. So some of my hobbies include working on websites, playing golf, and helping veterans. I have a business called Converse Digital, where I help design, build, and manage websites. And I also do e-commerce and digital marketing on different social media platforms, such as Instagram, for my clients. Just in school, I'm also on the varsity golf team. And over the summer, I was supposed to be a golf caddy and golf counselor. But unfortunately, it all fell through because of COVID. So instead, I'm working at a local retail store. So why did I enter this challenge? I mean, I really just wanted to share what I'd done to help my community And I also just liked how there was an essay and video component because I found this very interesting and I thought it'd just be fun to do. I believe that this competition is important for three main reasons. First, it's just vital to get input from the younger generation because we are the future. This also just motivates people to help others since they're seeing all these teenagers just brainstorming ideas on how we can come back from COVID. And I also just think it's really important to get different perspectives from people all over the world because they come from different backgrounds and they come from different cultures. So I feel really positive about my submission. I mean, I really enjoyed writing my essay and creating my video because of how I could just put my own input and be very creative. I'm really proud of how I contributed to my community by helping small businesses with their websites, e-commerce, and digital marketing for free. I'm also amazed at how I help many small businesses stay open and make money. And it's been very rewarding to make people happy and to hear them tell me how much they appreciate what I've done for them. So on the bottom left, as you can see, that's the original homepage for the Silk Road, which is just like a store that sells furniture. And then to the right of that is the new homepage that I created for them. And then there's also just a great testimonial from one of my clients, and I think it really represents what I've done. And overall, it's just been a great journey. I mean, some of my clients, when they first came to me, they were very worried and their small business was struggling. But now they're happy and they're making money and they're very relieved, which I'm ecstatic about.
All right, very well spoken, Connor. Is that everything?
Yep, that's everything.
All right, and Connor has a great voice. I'm very jealous. It's so deep. He's got a great radio and television voice. You have a future there, Connor. All right, we're going to ask Colin and Kelly, our judges. Colin, would you like to go first this time?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Connor, great work. I mean, similar to Alejandra, it was so inspiring to see you take action and use the skills you have, selflessly for free to these businesses. So that was great. My question for you is basically, how would you expand on this? I mean, your action was amazing. What would you suggest to government to ensure that your kind of impact could be broadened to the general population?
Well, I mean, I feel like just trying to encourage others to do what I did, not even through websites, maybe just going in and helping for a few days would just be awesome because they won't have to pay you and you're just helping them. So they don't have to worry and they're getting free help.
All right, thank you, Connor. And Kelly from the University of Waterloo.
Thank you, Connor. I have a couple of questions. I wanted to know what has giving back taught you, and also what did you learn about yourself through this process of creating and helping others?
Well, to your first question, I mean, oh wait, can you just repeat the first question? Sorry. There too, sorry.
Absolutely. No, yep, for sure. What has giving back taught you?
Well, I mean, giving back has just taught me how there are many people who have it really hard. I mean, I'm lucky that I grew up in such a great family and my parents really care about me. And I know not everyone has that, but I mean, I think just the great thing is that you should just go out and help others. And I mean, it just makes me feel better about myself when I do it. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Connor, rather. And best of luck to you in the Global Youth Challenge. That's fantastic.
Thanks a lot.
All right. So we're going to welcome next from Egypt, Noor Hassan. She is 16 years old, and she wrote an essay called The Silver Lining. And we're welcoming Noor to the Global Youth Challenge. Hello, Noor.
Hi, good morning.
All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Noor.
Sorry, Noor.
I recently turned 16.
We're going to have George and Jocelyn judges asking the questions, okay? So go ahead, Noor. Good luck with your presentation.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. My name is Noor. I recently turned 16. I'm Egyptian, but I live in Saudi Arabia, and it's really hot in here. I would like to start by thanking the judges Thank you. Thank you so much for choosing me. It is really an honor, especially considering the number of participants and the number of entries that you have received. And it's more of an honor considering the great cause of this challenge. And I'm glad that you think that I am fit to be a finalist. Yeah. I'm going to be very honest with you and tell you that my parents are the ones who suggested that I enter the contest. I didn't really know much about the competition until after the first Zoom meeting. And during that meeting, I got really inspired. During the part where the contestants were brainstorming in the comments, I got really motivated and everybody was coming with such great ideas, and that whole enthusiasm towards the whole competition just encouraged me to come up with my own great idea. In my work, I hope my work gives people hope and like a more positive outlook on the pandemic. The news that we were receiving during that time on a daily basis were really disheartening and depressing even. And though those news might be the truth, they are not the complete truth. And as Anya Peters once said, wherever there's bad, there's always good nearby. That's just nature's way. I think that we can easily overcome this pandemic if we work hard enough and if we work together, because just one person staying home and just one person doing their part is not going to be enough. We all need to do this together, and we're already almost there. New Zealand, for example, has not recorded any new cases for the past 21 days, and they have actually cleared their last patient of COVID-19. I believe that our countries can follow their footsteps and follow their tracks and eradicate the virus as well, if we all do our part and stay home and help fight the virus. In my work, I aimed at the full half of the cup. I wanted the people who read my work to be inspired and lift their heads up and have an overall more positive outlook and an overall better mood. I want to uplift their spirits because after all, you work better when you're happier, right? I tried making my work as positive as good as it could be because we really need that bit of hope. And it might not be much, but it's honest work. And I really hope that it changed somebody's outlook on the virus and it changed their point of view. Thank you. I want to say thank you once again for choosing me. It's really an honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nora. That was wonderful. Well said. And we're going to bring on our judges. George, would you like to ask the first question?
Hello, Noor. I really like your idea of a silver lining. And I'm wondering if you think there is a silver lining with regards to when you go back to school. You think there are some things that might change in such a way that would make school a more pleasant or a more educational experience?
Kind of. Well, that's a good question. All right. So everybody has had lots of free time during quarantine, and people were using it differently. Some people might have used it to grow more academically and study harder and work on themselves, maybe catch up on subjects that they couldn't before. So that would be really good for them for the next school year. I think so. Yeah, that would be good.
Thank you. Thank you, George. And thank you, Noor. We're going to bring in Jocelyn. Jocelyn, do you have a question for Noor?
Yes. Hello. Thank you for presenting. I really like your positive attitude as you emphasize throughout your submissions. And my question, going back to your previous answer and also in your essay, you mentioned, people have these free times and people are doing new skills and hobbies. Have you personally gained any quarantine skills or hobbies that you particularly enjoyed or didn't expect to learn?
Yes, actually, I've been getting really into drawing, painting, making music sometimes. It's really fun, and I wouldn't have been able to do that because I didn't have much time before quarantine, but quarantine kind of put the whole world at halt and paused everything. And me and many other teenagers have had a lot more time to practice their hobbies or even discover new hobbies. Thank you.
Thank you, Noor. And definitely, yes, you obviously have had more time because you guys are doing such a great job in your presentations here and your essays. Fantastic work by everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And what we want to do now is just take a look at some other country champions. So we have from Cambodia, Ellie Lich. Congratulations, Ellie, for your submission. You are the champion of Cambodia. And next, Jonathan Pesantaz from Ecuador. Well done, Jonathan. You are the champion of Ecuador. And last, Kaito Toya from Japan. So wonderful submissions from these three countries, and congratulations to those country champions. All right, next up, we're going to welcome Caroline Shen to the challenger, to be our next challenger. And she did some wonderful artwork. Caroline is from China. And we're going to have Professor Wang and Kelly ask the questions to Caroline. And we'll bring her on here now. So welcome, Caroline.
Hello, my name is Caroline, and I am a grade 11 student studying at Minster College in Mississauga, Canada. And before I start my presentation, I just want to take a moment and thank everyone here for creating such an amazing opportunity, and especially to the judges. Thank you so much for all the effort and time that you have put in. So this contest is a great opportunity for me to express my honest opinions and ideas regarding COVID-19. And because I had to do a lot of research for my art piece, I actually learned all kinds of new information, like global issues and world economy and climate change and a lot more. So when you are not, I think what is the most important is that I have already benefited a lot from this opportunity. And also, I just want more people to hear about my ideas, and I want to spread more awareness of what this pandemic has brought us, positively and negatively. And also, I really enjoyed this contest because art is really just one of my favorite things to do. And the process of creating this art piece is really a great distraction from all the stress and schoolwork that I've been having. So about my art piece, this is actually the first art piece that I have created using an online tool. And I'm still trying to get more familiar with using online apps. But however, I feel pretty confident about it because I think getting the message through is more important than the actual technique. And I think I did accomplish that. So there are two main purposes of my art piece. The first one is to raise awareness of the negative impacts that COVID-19 has brought, and the other is to encourage people to escape from a pessimistic mentality and to see beyond at what amazing positive changes there have been. So my art piece talks about the influences of COVID-19 to humanity as a whole from many different perspectives, including political, economical, social, racial, technological, personal, and from the perspective of nature. And I think all these topics are really important and should be discussed more. Some topics have been neglected or not paid enough attention to because people just don't really discuss them. And for instance, the discrimination towards the Asian community have been triggered. And a lot of innocent Asian people are being verbally and even physically harassed on the streets just because of their ethnicity. And I barely see any media posts or news about it. And also more people should pay attention to how nature has benefited and recovered from this pandemic, like how the peak of Mount Everest can now be seen because of the reduction in pollution. And also many animals, including some endangered species, have also shown itself in human cities, which is where they used to belong, like the Bavira cat in India and fishes and dolphins in Vienna, and etc. So with the reduction of human activities, nature actually starts to gain back its power. And I think that this pandemic could be also seen as a message sent to humans, because we don't own this planet. We share it with the animals and trees and grass and everything nature provides us with. And I think what caused this pandemic is a broken balance between humans and the nature. And I think it should be taken seriously. So to sum up, COVID-19 has made both positive and negative impacts to our lives. And it isn't the first global pandemic, and unfortunately, it will not be the last. It should be taken seriously, and we should really treat this pandemic as both a warning and an opportunity to learn and improve. So thank you again for giving me this amazing opportunity and for all the time and effort that you have all put in. And I hope you enjoy my presentation. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Caroline. That was very well said. And I'm sure we all agree with those sentiments. And we're going to bring in Professor Wang. Professor Wang, you're up for a question for Caroline.
Hi, Caroline. I really enjoy the artwork and also the interpretation of your artwork. And you have gone distance in talking about different aspects of what the virus is causing us to rethink and then our relationship between, human and nature and also among each other. That's sort of an idea I truly appreciate it. That being said, I'm just thinking, when you put together artwork, I'm artistically challenged to start with that. So I'm just amazed at how you come up with the idea, put art together with this kind of a concept to link nature to different aspects of sort of issues derived from this virus issues. Yeah. I'm just curious.
Oh, well,
not so much a question,
yeah,
but
yeah,
more
yeah.
about the comment. Yeah.
Well, I definitely did a lot of brainstorming and I came up with a lot of ideas. At first, I was trying to pick like a few of these ideas, but then I realized I just can't choose between these ideas. So I just decided to include all of these ideas onto my art piece. And I think a more complex art piece is actually a better way to express my ideas and thoughts and to pass on the message. So yeah, I just think all these ideas are important and should be discussed and none of them should be left out, really.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Professor. And Kelly from University of Waterloo.
That was a beautiful piece of art. Thank you for that. I have a question about how do you think us humans can do a better job to balance nature and human interaction on our planet?
Well, I think now there are a lot of problems like global warming and overfishing and pollution. And a lot of these problems are caused because humans are really just too selfish and we want to benefit ourselves from taking resources from the nature. And I think what we need to do really is to stop being so selfish. And because we share this planet with nature and animals and everything else, right? I think we just need to stop thinking about ourselves and think about it from another perspective and really just start caring more about nature and other things. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Caroline. That is fantastic work. Well done. Thank you, judges. And we're going to bring on next Shan Aminga from China. She is 15 years old, and she wrote an essay called The Most United Spring Festival. And we're going to have judges Colin and judges George to ask the questions to Shan Aminga. Welcome, Shan Aminga. You're up. Oh, we just need you to, Shan Aminga, we need you to turn on your microphone. You're on mute there, so we can hear you. This is live, everyone, so you know this is live. There we go. There we go. I think you've got it on. Go ahead. Oh, no, you turned it off. No, we still can't hear you, Shan Aminga. We just need you to turn on your microphone. Unmute. We are doing this live.
Okay.
There we go. We got you. Thank you so much. All right, you're up. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shan Anming. I came from Kunming. Kunming is a very beautiful city with 4 seasons like spring.
Now we hear you fine. Go ahead, continue.
If possible, I hope everyone will come here for a trip. I'm very glad to be here to share my feeling during this time. In the past time, all the difficulties in life are told by my parents. However, in this year, I'm experiencing this tough time by myself now. At the same time, I heard about the competition, which attracted me very much. This is the main reason for me to join this meaningful activity. The content of my video is divided into 3 parts. Firstly, it introduced the history and the development of coronavirus during these 80 years. Secondly, the domestic and international situation of COVID-19 are stated. More importantly, I talk about my feelings and thoughts about this issue, and I also expressed what I have learned from the great contributors in this tough time. The original idea for my video is to impress the feeling I got this time, because it is the first time for me to express an epidemic disease and its impact. And I was deeply touched by many real stories this time, including how the academicians devoted their time into this battle, how doctors scarified themselves, how the government supports their citizens, and how people consolidated. When I collected the information for my video, I found many useful knowledge about coronavirus and COVID-19. They are important for all of us to know, so I put forward some background knowledge at the beginning. The model of my video is cartoon, because cartoon is what I really like, and I want to make its serious issue a more acceptable way to audience. To be honest, it is my first time to attend an English speaking competition. I gained a lot during my preparation. When I was informed that I was one of the last 17 competitors, I was encouraged, and I will try my best to do better in this round. As for my essay, as the content is one of story which moved me, the essay is the supplement of my video. The content is focused on consolidation of my country with a comparison between the yearly Spring Festival and the Spring Festival this year. In the form, the Spring Festival was not united on this year, but in the reality, it was the most reunited time for Chinese people, because all of us united and fight for this disease together. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Excellent. You can see behind me here, we have a cameraman who's focusing in. That's great. And we're going to have Colin. Come on, Colin, from Brock University to ask a question.
Yeah, hi, Sean. I mean, hey, if this is your first English speaking competition, you're doing very well. So that's great.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. In your submission, you talked about how this coronavirus has created sort of a powerful force that has connected us. Okay, so can you elaborate on that? So what do you mean by that? What powerful force has connected us during this time?
First, thank you for your question. The strongest powerful, I think the knowledge powerful is connected to the strongest powerful, because I think the knowledge is the most important thing in this world, and I think I will try my best to be a knowledge-armed teenager to help my country when the difficulty comes. I designed to be such a teenager and such a talent.
All right, thank you. And I'm sure you will be a great talent. Let's have Judge George. Come on, George, you're up.
Hello, Sean.
Hello.
Again, your English is very good. And I'm just wondering, you must be looking forward to next year's Spring Festival. And how do you think it will be different from this year's? Or will it be better next year because of what you experienced this year?
Oh, okay. First, first, I think in this year, I know I'm as a medium high school student. I know that there are very few things I can do for this epidemic, but I still try to help as people as I can. I treated the seriousness of the epidemic to some old people and taught them some practical measures. When I have some extreme marks, I give them to people who want to eat.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Shan. Wonderful answer. And I hope I can visit you at your spring festival in China. That would be fantastic. All right. Next, we're going to just take a quick look at see how our People's Choice polling is. Last time we checked in, Ashraf was still in the lead. Let's see how we're doing this time. Ashraf is still in the lead, but we are seeing some other people gain. So we need those votes. So go online to www.theglobalyouth.com to vote for your favorite challenger. And what I want to do next is let's bring on a couple of more of our country champions. Yeah, let's see who else we have who have won our country champions. We have Mikhail Khan. Mikhail Khan from Kazakhstan. He is one of our country champions. Congratulations, Mikhail. And Samantha Sibanda from Zimbabwe, also one of our country champions. So congratulations to Mikhail and Samantha. Well done, everybody. So we're going to bring on our next challenger. It is Gracia Abadi, and she is from Honduras, and she has a piece of artwork as well. And Gracia, I'm just going to put you on the screen here. And thank you, Gracia, for your submission. And we're going to have, just to let the judges know, we're going to have Jocelyn and Colin. All right, Gracia, go ahead.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be participating in the finals. I am very excited to present and talk about my visual artwork titled The Fight Between Economy and Health. So to start, I'm going to give a little background of how I got this idea and why I chose this theme. So when I was younger, from 5 to 13 years old, I was a scout. And one of the things that I remember the most is that we were told that we have to help in every chance we get. And also my parents have always taught me that everyone has different talents and abilities and that we have to put them to the service of others when they need it. So in this case, when the COVID-19 pandemic arrived to Honduras, I asked myself several times, what can I do to help? This question kept running around my head. And I even told myself, you're not a doctor, so you cannot help in this situation. But as I mentioned, this question I kept asking myself this question until I was scrolling through my Instagram and I found a picture of a face mask pattern, just like this one. And I immediately started searching for more face masks pattern and making them in order to find the most comfortable and effective face mask. Here are some of the other patterns I made. And when I found the most comfortable and effective face mask pattern, I started making these face masks made out of 4 layers of recycled fabric. These face masks, ever since I've been making this face mask, I've made over 200 face masks that have been donated to pharmacies and charity in order for them to give to people that cannot afford a face mask or do not have a face mask because some pharmacies are not selling. So the main reason I wanted to join this challenge is because I wanted to transmit my idea to other people, especially the people that know how to sew, to make face masks and donate them to others. And I know that everyone has a special talent or ability, and this is a perfect time to share your abilities and put them to the service of other people. I also made a tutorial to teach other people how to make face masks. And the reason why I chose to make this face mask and talk about this in the Global Youth Challenge is because, as you saw in my visual artwork, you can see it right here. In this artwork, I have 3 characters that present economy, health, and the middle character presents thank you. And the middle character presents how all the country need to stand to be united towards this situation. So the economy character represents the current situation that is happening in Honduras, and I am sure that in many other countries too. In Honduras, we've been in quarantine since March 14, and many businesses are going bankrupt. Employees are getting fired or suspended from their jobs. There are kids on the street asking for food or money, and other people do not have an income to buy food for their families. Now, I'm sure everybody can understand that this is a very frustrating situation for everyone. And as much as we all hope that economy reopens soon, by the other hand, we have the health character. This character represents all the medical staff, doctors, people that have become infected, that this virus is tearing families apart, and the health character knows that if economy reopens, the health system can come to a collapse, and that would be a fatality. We know that if economy reopens, that could be beneficial or a catastrophe. As you've seen on the news every day, there are lots of people dying because of this virus. And the thing is that, as you saw in the middle character, it represents how all the countries are standing in unison for this. And from what I've seen in the news, from what doctors have talked, from what scientists have said, we can see that face masks are a very important accessory that now has come. And it is very important that a face mask is like the bridge between economy and health. As I explained, I think that economy and health are 2 factors that cannot get along, because if economy reopens, health starts to collapse, and if economy does not reopen, if health does not reopen, economy starts to collapse. So if we all use a face mask when economy reopens, we will avoid all this trouble that this virus is given. And that is why I want to encourage other people to, if you can sew, to make face masks, donate face masks. And even if you cannot sew, that's okay, because there are many ways to do face masks. You can do them from old curtains, bed sheets, old t-shirts, and I am sure that everyone has different talents and abilities in order to help. Right now, we may be separated by social distancing, but we have to be more united than ever. So I want to encourage everyone to put your service your talents to the service of others. Thank you.
Thank you, Gracia. That was wonderful. And I can't sew, but I did donate my sewing machine to someone who could sew. So that's what I did. All right, we're gonna bring in Jocelyn. Jocelyn, go ahead with your question.
Hello, I really enjoyed your presentation and all your submissions, and I think you're identifying a very important clash that a lot of people and societies are dealing with, which is, as you mentioned, public health versus economy. And you identified, I think, face masks as being a great solution and how people should contribute. And I agree with all these, but what do you think besides face masks? What do you think there's a bigger change? Like, what else can people do than you've already mentioned? Because it is, a very philosophical issue. So what do you think, what more can be done, basically?
I think that to start, many people are seeing how much this virus is costing, and they still do not believe this is happening. So I think that everyone should take responsibility towards the precaution measures. You know that sometimes you have to come to your house, you go to the grocery store, you have to clean all your supplies, and some people say, I don't think that has coronavirus. So, but you never know. And that type of doubt or that type of feeling that it is okay what you're doing is what's causing this virus to infect a lot of people. So I think that once economy reopen, businesses and people need to be responsible for their actions, because if they're responsible for their actions, they're protecting themselves, their families, they're helping the number of infected people to not increase. They're also helping the doctors to avoid more infected people.
Thank you, Gracia. And we're going to bring on Colin, and I'm excited to hear Colin's question because I know he is quite artistic. Go ahead, Colin.
Well, I first of all, similar to what I said to Connor and Alejandra, I mean, I'm so inspired that you took action to do this and to help others. So this is wonderful. But my question to you is actually going to be similar to the one I said to Connor, which is, you know, you're one person, you're doing this great thing. But if you had the resources, how would you expand what you're doing to help more people? How do you think your actions could be taken, you know, up by your country or others to broaden your impact and your positive impact?
Well, I definitely think that if more people could help to the face mask donation, it would be great. That's why I posted a tutorial to show other people how to make face masks. And by myself, I've made 200 face masks. Now, can you imagine how much face masks could be made with people that have more experience than I? And also, as you have seen on the news and of a lot of countries, there are a lot of medical supplies such as protections that are missing. And I think that the fashion industry could also help in making these things, because even though worldwide, every hospital is trying to find the supplies. But if each country has like a group of people that are working to produce more of these things, it would be great. And not only to sell them, but also to donate to other people, because as I mentioned, some people can't afford this, others just think they're uncomfortable, and other people some of the supplies can't be found in pharmacies or hospitals because there is a shortage. So I would definitely encourage other people to join this, join making face masks or any other protection, because anything helps right now.
Wonderful message. Thank you so much, Gracia. Very, very inspiring message. And we want to bring on our next challenger, and that is going to be Yuchao Yang. And Yuchao is from China, and he's living in Toronto, and he is 19 years old. His English name is Ethan, and his essay was called Coronavirus: A Plague That Caused Deglobalization and Global Economic Recession. Professor Wang and Jocelyn, you will be our judges to question Yuchao. The floor is yours. Go ahead, Yuchao.
Oh, hey guys, my name is Yuchao Yang. My username is Ethan. I'm from Northeast China, a really small city right by Russia. I'm really happy to join this competition, and I appreciate all the judges spending time looking over our essays and artworks. I also appreciate the organizers for organizing such a great event and attracting such great contestants. As for why I entered the Global Youth Challenge, well, first, I'm very passionate about business and economics. So I wanted to apply my knowledge to COVID-19 and also get feedbacks from experts. Well, second, it's also a great experience to practice what I may be doing in the future in the workplace. That is doing research and writing reports and giving recommendations. I learned a lot from this experience. Now, I will summarize my feelings about my video and essay. For the purpose of my essay, well, everybody knows about the impact of COVID-19 on the healthcare system. but I want to inform people about the economic impact that COVID-19 will have. So I wrote an essay and made a short animation video. There are two main ideas in my video and essay. First is the rising deglobalization, which means countries are becoming more isolated and having less international cooperation. For example, Apple is moving their factories from China back to the States. Second is the economic recession, especially manufacturing and the service industries. There's also having a big drop in the stock market and the rising unemployment rate. In response, the government decided to start unlimited quantitative easing and lower the interest rate. This may help a little bit, but however, it won't prevent the recession. From watching my video, I hope people will be aware of the economic impacts of COVID-19 and prepare themselves for economic recession. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Yu Chao. And we're going to move to Professor Wang for his question. Professor.
Well, very well done, Yu Chao. And it forced me to try to think about a finance, which I don't know much about it. And so I have a question. So what is so special about this COVID-19 virus and its effect on so-called globalization and deglobalization we're mentioning there? So it's always take drastic events like that to reshape the world. But I'm just wondering, in your view, what's so special about this particular episode of a pandemic kind of a spread to cause such a crisis in the financial world, which could potentially cause problem for globalization?
Well, first, the pandemic caused many countries to start lockdown, such as country like China, which is a world factory. It is the biggest supply chain it is the biggest part in the global supply chain, manufacturing supply chain. The lockdown of China had seriously damaged the global industrial production chain. That's in the manufacturing industry. In the service industry, the education and the tourism has been fallen off a cliff. Has been seriously damaged, since like Western universities cannot attract international students anymore, and the tourism, like people are too, it's not really safe to travel anymore. Thank you for questioning.
Thank you, Yu Chao. And I'll open the floor to Jocelyn for a question for Yu Chao.
Hello, thank you for your very detailed and informative submissions. I guess my question is, we've already seen COVID-19 change all our structures in the world. For example, even before COVID-19, people were like, oh, our governments aren't really prepared to handle a pandemic. And now that people have been reflecting on, healthcare infrastructures. But in your opinion, in terms of economics or finance, what can economic institutions do right now preventively to, lessen the impact of something similar to COVID-19 in the future?
I think what the government is doing right now is fine. Well, if the economic recession is unavoidable, as it is a part of the economic cycle. If you have the economic growth, you will have an economic recession at some time. So from my perspective, I think the government is trying to delay the economic recession, because if we have the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, and the economic crisis at the same time, it will be a pretty horrible picture. It will cause millions of people would die. Because of that, I think the government should give more support for the homeless and the poor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Yu Chao, and very well said. Thank you, Jocelyn and Professor Wang. And don't forget, everybody, to please go online to vote for your people's choice. We have over 15 1,500 votes so far. So go to www.theglobalyouth.com to vote for your favorite. And we are going to ask Eleonora Bure from Italy to come and speak to us. She is 16 years old and she wrote an essay called Cycles. And we're going to have judges Kelly and Colin. All right, Eleonora, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Hello all, I'm Eleonora. Before I start my speech, I want to thank all the judges for their effort and participation and their hard work in this competition and for putting me in the finals. I really appreciate them. So I was always writing my essay Cycles. I was wondering, I wrote this essay based on a historical view because, well, I love history. I was thinking about how, based on all the historical knowledge and all the past epidemics that we have seen throughout history, how this will affect humanity in the future, including this coronavirus pandemic. And I realized that there's like a pattern or like a cycle where we see throughout history diseases appearing and spreading and killing vast populations of humanity on and on and on continuously. This vicious cycles goes on and on and on. And I believe we will also see this in the future. That's why, like in the 21st century, when supposedly we have by far in human history the most scientific advances and knowledge, we still see a pandemic happening and affecting many lives nowadays. In my essay, I predicted, and I believe that will happen in the future, but we will continue to see many epidemics happening because as the human population increases and the demand for meat especially, we will need more smaller factories, and this will be easier for viruses to transmit from animals to humans. And also because since technology will advance too, it'll be very quick for viruses to travel from one continent to another because of quicker air travel. And this will cause, obviously, because of all this, there will be much more epidemics, and then these viruses will spread much quicker, like wildfire. So the point that I wanted to make in my essay is that we have to learn from the past epidemics that we have seen throughout history, and this one including today, because in order we can't prevent diseases appearing because Mother Nature works that way. We have a diverse flora and fauna on this planet. What we can do as humanity is to prevent epidemics, to prevent the vast spread of diseases throughout the planet, and to contain diseases in one place so that we can eliminate them. Because if we don't do this, we will continue to see much more epidemics in the future, but much worse ones because of the reasons I explained before. So that's why, as I said in my essay, I think that our future is determined by two choices: to remain in the dangerous position that we are in and not learn from mistakes, or to revolutionize the way that we live and behave on this delicate planet in the following years so that we can change the future for the better of all of us and for the better of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you so much. And I think we heartily agree with what you have said. And we're going to let's bring in Colin from Brock University for a question. Go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, thank you, Eleonora. So you took sort of a bit of a historical approach and focusing on the past viruses. And so I guess my question is about, what lessons do you think we need to learn, or maybe we're not learning from those past historical instances of coronavirus? What lessons do we need to learn to prevent those future pandemics from really hurting us?
I think what we need to learn is one, we have to control the population, because it's okay I think it's okay if our population continues to grow, obviously, but we're increasing at an exponential rate and our planet can't handle all these people. And this will obviously worsen the rates of future epidemics. So one thing I think people should learn from the history of epidemics is to control our population size and growth. Another thing I think humans should learn from is to really focus all of our energy on improving our science and medicine, so that we can, if in case future epidemics happen, we can help by having all the scientific knowledge. Obviously, in the past, in like the 1500s, people didn't have all this scientific knowledge and all these research like we have today. So we have to really take advantage of what we have and to improve and increase this knowledge for the future.
All right, and we'll ask Kelly from the University of Waterloo.
Hello, Eleonora. That was very well done. Thank you. I'm curious to know if you could put yourself hypothetically 100 years from now, how do you think us globally will be judged by how we handled the current COVID pandemic?
I think in 100 years from now, if people decide to take action once this coronavirus pandemic is over and not just ignore it like, okay, this happened, forget about it. If we learn from this mistake, from this coronavirus pandemic and the other ones that happened before it, and we follow like some of the solutions I proposed in my essay, in 100 years, we could really start to see much fewer pandemics than what we will expect to see if we didn't do anything at all. We could expect to see almost no pandemic. Of course, diseases will continue to appear, but if we decide to take action now, we will see much fewer epidemics happening, or maybe none at all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Eleonora. And we certainly share with your desire that this doesn't happen again in the future. And let's move on to some of our final country champions. From Costa Rica, we're very happy to announce that Daniela Chacon Gonzalez is the winner from Costa Rica, champion of Costa Rica. Well done, Daniela. And Seon Yu from Korea is the champion of Korea. So congratulations, Seon and Daniela. Well done for your submissions and a wonderful work. I mean, judges, it's getting more and more challenging out there. I tell you, it's going to be really, really hard for the judges to come up with our winners. Let's meet our next challenger, Hao Liu from Vietnam. And Hao is 18 years old, and he created a artwork piece called Friends in Quarantine. Welcome, Hao.
Hello. Well, first of all, I just want to say something that I just thanks for this great opportunity, just me being here and standing in front of you guys, or at least sitting on on your screen and talking about my ideas or like thoughts about the current pandemic. My name is Hao Liu, or you can call me Corvo if you like. I'm 18 years old. I live in a small city named Tra Vinh, which is located in the eastern side of Vietnam. And the reason that I decided to participate in this contest is because that I want to step out of my comfort level and trying to do something that is related to the current matter, that is the COVID-19. Well, let's just jump straight into my artwork, shall we? In here, you can see that I'm trying to replicate the teenager bedroom as closely as possible. So there's a lot of stuff flowing around. And the thing that will undoubtedly catch your eye first will be the TV in the middle, right? So that is not the only thing that is bright lit in this artwork. There's also the phone and the lamps. I try to use, in this situation, I try to use lights as a method to redirect your what you're looking at, so that I could illustrate my point that teenagers in quarantine mostly spend their time either on watching TV, surfing the internet, or reading books, or doing homework. And hence the title of the artwork, Friends During Quarantine. You know, they have only TV, phone, and like books, or if you will, to make friends with. And another detail that I decided to add in that is easily to overlook if you take a quick glance at it is the cigarette on my character hand right here. From my personal experience, during quarantine, I accidentally developed a bad habit on my own, and which really take a toll on my mental and physical health. And in this situation, I try to illustrate this point by giving her a cigarette in her arm, just to say that quarantine have affected life of teenagers in a negative way, specifically about their mental and physical health. And now about the video, I decided to cover 3 main points in my video, which is teenagers' thoughts and feelings about the isolation, academic barriers, as well as how their social life has changed. And since we're addressing such a disastrous topic, in my opinion, I think that I could add in a few, some might say this unnecessarily, but I think that it add in a quirkiness which make the video more upbeat. For example, like be scolded for playing video game too much, or teacher give out too much homework, or literally feel like a robot just doing nothing but processing and calculating homework. And another small detail that I added into my video is that at the start of the video, my character looked kind of fit. He doesn't look like too curvy, too skinny, but yeah, at the end of the video, he started to look a little bit too chubby. And I want to add in that, like the idea that I mentioned a few seconds ago, that bad habit really affect on their mental and physical life. So I tried to illustrate my point that bad habit really have a toll on their health in general. And so what's my point in this presentation? Well, I'm just trying to say that the isolation are passively and badly damage or have a negative impact on the teenager's life, socially, physically, and mentally. And that's all. Thanks for your attendance.
Thank you, Hao. Thank you so much. That was wonderful, wonderful. And yes, I think we've all gained a little bit of extra weight, unfortunately. Let's bring George in. George, with your question.
Hello, and I'm wondering, do your friends feel the same way about this? Do they feel that this has been a negative time for them? Do they feel they have developed some bad habits, or have they taken this as a chance to maybe develop a new hobby, or how do they feel?
Well, surprisingly, when I ask them how they feel about this situation, they tell me that nothing really changed during the isolation. Most of them agree that their daily activities are being replaced by, well, let not beat around the bushes. A lot of the activities are actually replaced by sleeping and eating, which is kind of relatable. And a lot of my friends also agree that during quarantine, they actually developed some, beside bad habit, they also developed some positive side of themselves. Like some of my friends are actually into drawing now, and I got one friends are like really hate cooking. Like he doesn't really into it at all, but now he's like trying to be best to be a baker. So yeah, that's a positive. Thank you for that.
All right, let's bring in Professor Wang.
Well, thank you, Hao, for using this artistic mean to share your daily life with us and during the quarantine. Now, I guess I have a better appreciation of what my students are doing during the quarantine. And probably what I would like to know from your point of view, and what habit they develop. Oh, people like a student develop a habit during the quarantine would sustain. What is you, in your view, are reversible, like a short burst? They will come and go, that kind of thing.
Like,
so I can manage with them when they come back.
Like the habit they have developed.
Yeah. The new habit developed during the quarantine, what is actually, they will stay with them after this episode's gone. Well, in your view, well, sort of say when the quarantine is gone, that's going to disappear.
Well, a lot of my interviewee are like at the same age as me, which is 18. And like being in 12th grade in Vietnam, don't really have enough time to focus on, hobby and free time. So I believe after this pandemic has ended, I think like the thing will stick with them would be the one that is more upbeat and give them to stop time, like playing guitar or listen to music and that dancing. And like some hobbies such as take more time to do, like cooking or like just too complicated to follow would die now and eventually will, just stop appearing on their mind. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Hao. Thank you so much. And it was a wonderful piece of art. Well done. We're going to bring on next Alice Yang. And Alice is from Edmonton, Canada. And she has the title of her essay was A Lesson We Have Never Learned. And she is 15 years old from Edmonton, Canada. Welcome, Alice. We're going to have Jocelyn and Kelly ask the questions. Go ahead, Alice.
Hello, everyone. First off, I am so grateful to be sitting in front of you all. Thank you to all the organizers and judges for making the Global Youth Challenge possible. Today, I hope to bring my opinions and my views on the world as a youth. I entered this competition for an opportunity to express my voice. As COVID-19 began, sickness along with hate spread. Every day I would scroll through the news and see videos of an old Chinese lady getting beaten up. My anger towards the perpetrators is not fueled by the fact I am Chinese Canadian, but because these acts of ignorance against an entire people have happened time and time again throughout history. I'm frustrated that people have not learned the lesson that the actions of one person or a group of people do not represent an entire race. My essay was about the internment of the Japanese Canadians in World War II because of Pearl Harbor. They became aliens despite having no connection to the event. 40 years later, the government apologized for their actions. Today, Chinese people are labeled as the source of this China virus. I use this comparison because someone will apologize for beating up that old lady, but I don't want apologies. I want to stop this hate so that no one needs to apologize. I hope that by standing up for my voice at this competition tells the world that we need to understand who the true enemy is. I created my video because I am amazed by how history can predict the future. By using history as a tool and looking at past pandemics, we can predict the impacts of COVID-19 on religion, socio-political issues, and even the future of countries. I use history because past pandemics and outbreaks have changed the world, and we will most likely see the same again with COVID-19. It has already shed light on serious issues such as wealth inequality and government corruption. Our views on public health care and power dynamics between countries will change. Like the plague of Athens and the Black Death, COVID-19 will create ripples within the foundations of our social, economic, and political values. I am here because I want to spread my message. My essay demonstrates that history repeats itself. My video shows that history is a mirror that reflects our future. We must learn from it. I have experienced countless things from participating in this competition. Thank you to all, and I hope you have broadened your perspectives as well. History is our most powerful tool. but also the least used. Open your eyes and see the world not only for what it is, but for what it was and what it will be.
Thank you, Alice. That was very inspiring. Well done. Congratulations. I'm going to bring on Jocelyn now. Jocelyn, please go ahead with your question for Alice Yang.
Hello, thank you for your presentation. You touched on so many topics, and I guess I'll ask you to focus on your essay topic, which was about discrimination and racism. And now again, you've mentioned again, I'm assuming when you say who is the true enemy, I'm assuming you mean hatred and discrimination. Am I correct in assuming that?
For me, in the essay, I talked about virus and the enemy, but I also implicitly that it's ignorance, but it's also up to your interpretation of what you think it is actually.
Okay, so thank you for the clarification. And just a quick follow-up. So again, I agree, these are a lot of big problems. So again, they're, very conceptual. Do you have any specific, like daily things that we can all do to work toward these greater values of being more aware, as we said, using history more as a tool? Do you have anything specific that would help us move to these greater goals?
Honestly, I think that the stereotype around history has to change, because right now people are thinking like in your future, you should be an engineer, a doctor, like in the sciences. And then that history is for like old closeted people that just like to read books. I think that stereotype needs to change, because history is actually way more powerful than any of those sciences. Because if you're a doctor, you can save lives. But as a historian or learning about history and understanding history and how it happens, you can actually change the world and save the world. And about more specific issues, let's talk about wealth inequality, for example. Wealth inequality is a huge rising issue in the US, for example. In the US, the taxable income is so low that people actually try to be poorer, because when they go above taxable income, they actually earn less money because they're being taxed so high. So that's something that we can all do, other than just being aware and studying history, is that there's petitions everywhere. There's petitions, you can sign petitions, you can go out to protest, like for example, Black Lives Matter and the no masks. And it's like, make sure your voice is heard. No matter what your opinion is, make sure you are educated when you talk about your opinion. And make sure that when you're talking, you're actually following what you believe is morally right, and knowing that whatever you say, you have evidence and you know that it's not negatively impacting people. There's so many things you can do, volunteering, already said, and just signing petitions, raising your voice, because in Canada, we have a democratic government, and those government people should be listening to your voices, and they can't listen to your voices if you're not saying them. So no matter what your view is, understand that we have to be aware of historical events and their impacts, and also be aware of your own moral values, and have your own integrity, and make sure that you raise your voice.
All right, thank you very much, Alice. Let's move over to Kelly for a question.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I could sense your passion in your subject, and I think it's very important that you share that, and thank you very much for doing so. You spoke a lot about some of the negative impacts you've seen recently about racism and whatnot. I'm wondering if you can share maybe one or two acts of kindness that you've also been able to witness throughout this pandemic as well.
With the rise of hatred and racism, there's also been a rise of solidarity between people. Let's talk about Black Lives Matter again. For example, with Asians and Black people, there have been both minorities, right? And they've been overshadowed by a majority that sometimes displays ignorance against them. And they've been tried to separate these two minority groups and alienize them. But with the rise of racism and this kind of discrimination, there's been groups of people are coming together to share their thoughts and stand with what they believe is morally right. And as I said, racism and discrimination, these protests against them and these people who are standing with them, they're not just Asian people anymore. They're not just Chinese people at these protests. There's Black people, white people of all ethnicities are there. So along with the rise of evil, we could say, or terrible events, there's also been a rise of people who support these people who are being targeted. And I think it's just amazing how people have gotten together in crisis to support people who they believe are unjustly treated.
Thank you so much, Alice. And I also really love your bedroom wall there where it says you are more powerful than you think. Absolutely. And you definitely are a powerful speaker. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you. And we're going to be moving on to our next challenger, which is Amber Wang. And don't forget, everybody, to vote, vote, vote. We've got over 2,100 votes. And let's do a quick check, shall we? Let's see who's still in the lead. All right. Looks like Ashraf still with 40% of the votes. But Gracia Sharon, who's coming up a little bit later, she's getting some early voting. Gracia Abadi as well, doing well. So get your votes in, everybody, and let's see who will be our people's champion. All right, so we're going to bring on Amber Wang next, and she is from China and living in Toronto, and she has a piece of artwork as well that she submitted, and we will have judges Colin and Professor Wang to ask the questions to Amber. Amber, go ahead.
So hello everyone, my name is Amber. Before I speak, I want to thank all the judges come here on this wonderful Saturday. I was pleasantly surprised that my artwork can enter the finals. So thanks again to the judges. Now I'm gonna introduce my artwork. So I made this portrait, this here, to communicate the need for more love and more compassion across the globe. Even though the source of the virus has not been identified, in the eyes of some countries, the virus is called the Chinese virus. As a Chinese person, I feel very powerless and sad. So I drew a woman wearing traditional Chinese clothing with a viral head in the middle of the portrait. This character represents China in the eyes of people in some countries. I used Chinese dragons and auspicious clouds to add Chinese elements, and I drew a woman to show Chinese tenderness. The flower in the hand represents hope. The needles pointing at the viral head represent painful discrimination faced by the women. The boxes next to the women represent donations of key medical supplies to other countries. And the three hands represent other countries receiving the donations. The four televisions above the women represent the media, and the different color eyes in the televisions represent people from different countries discriminating against China through the media. At the top is a globe. This represents my desire to make the world a global village through more love and more compassion. From my portrait, I hope people will be inspired to recognize the kindness that China is giving to the world and to praise each other rather than blaming any particular country. This way, the whole world can work together to overcome COVID-19 as fast as possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Amber. That was it's a wonderful piece and wonderful piece of drawing. And we're going to bring Colin back in from Brock University. Colin.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Amber. Yeah, what a fantastic artistry. I'm not much of a visual artist myself, so I'm very impressed with your efforts. Well done. So in your explanation, you talked about, I think the positive aspect was talking about the global village, how we can still be, connected even during this really challenging time, even amongst some really terrible things with racism toward Chinese people and that kind of thing. So tell me, what can we do to make, to bridge the connections between people? How can we make it more of a global village and bring that positivity?
So from my perspective, so now we can do as a group together with other Chinese people and maintain a good attitude, understand their perspective and be tolerant. It's very hard to change other people, but we can at least set a good example with other behaviors and attitude.
All right, thank you. Thank you. And we'll ask Professor Wang for his question. Professor.
Well, thanks, Amber, for this sharing this beautiful piece of art. So I guess question being, so we all in our life, one way or another, I shouldn't say all, some of us share that experience of being discriminated, right? So in whatever way, even sometimes we say, intellectually, someone say you're never smart enough, or you never work hard enough, that kind of thing. So I'm just wondering, as being, emphasized here, being a Chinese, being discriminated with disease, and because disease leading to more discrimination, sometimes like that. So I'm just wondering, what could we do? Like say, when this is over, now even within China ourselves, we sometimes feel that as well, quite a bit of discrimination against other things. So I'm just wondering, in your view, what could you do? Like just follow up on Colin's question, say to minimize or try to reduce that kind of attitude, because a lot of them coming from ignorance, is coming from a lot of other people talk about it. So in your view, what could you do to remove it? Because now we see discrimination in US and talking about color issues and everything. So I mean, that has nothing to do with disease, right? And so they're just pretty general.
So get a good, just from a perspective, maybe we need a good house and together a lot to get a good attitude to fight the virus. It's a good question. Just I need to think it.
Okay, yeah, I think it's one thing is to criticize something, but we are here to be constructive, trying to find a way to sort of eliminate some of the negative things, right? So anyway, so just a comment.
Yeah. Thank you, Amber. Yes, absolutely. Tough question. Always tough question from Professor Wang when you get Professor Wang to ask you the question. Tough judge. He's a tough judge, challengers. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be bringing on our final challenger. Yes, she is the final challenger from Indonesia, Gracia Sharon, and she is 16 years old, and she has an essay called "The New Normal as a Survival Mode in Business." And we're going to have Kelly ask a question and Professor Wang one more time. All right, go ahead, Gracia.
Hello, so I'm just gonna share my screen for a second. Okay, so good morning, honored judges and my fellow friends. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone, especially the judges, for sparing your time to judge us, as I really appreciate it. I want to introduce myself. My name is Gracia Sharon, or people usually call me Chia. I came from Indonesia, specifically from Jakarta. But I'm currently in Toronto, Canada, to attend my senior high school in the Erindale Academy. I want to express my feeling that I'm really grateful to be chosen as one of the finalists. I initially heard about this challenge from the Erindale Academy WhatsApp group, and I found it really interesting and challenging, especially when it comes to the process of making it. I learned how to collect reliable data, think critically, act as a talent, being a script and content creator, video editing, also cover song and compile it into one project, which is really interesting for me. And with full of effort, I surprisingly did it. In this opportunity, I want to share my feelings and thought about how COVID-19 has affected our lives, especially in business area. This pandemic is a digital transformation accelerator, meaning that it triggers and reinforces people in three ways. The first one is mindset. COVID-19 has changed the way people see the world. They reconsider the old ways of running their businesses to adapt new changes and find ways to explore their business. Companies tend to be more innovative and creative and have critical thinking. The second one is attitude. People are forced to be agile in order for their businesses to survive. They have to keep up their pace of other businesses that are also struggling to survive because they are most likely finding ways to overcome their problems, right? Which can be a threat to one another. And the last one is action. People are also forced to adopt the more digital way and to adapt to the changing situation in terms of technology usage. Personally, I'm encouraged to go digital as well and to think digitally and to make any improvements such as attending webinar and virtual classes, online shopping, finding and joining online competitions like this one, donation, and even community services like online tutors. And lastly, I encourage us all to see the positive things out of the unfortunate situation we're facing right now. I know that facing the situation isn't an easy task as we all don't know when is this going to end. But trust in every effort and process you put in everything you do. Because I believe that there is no process that betrays the result. And so that's all for me. Thank you for all your support and attention. Any questions?
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Gracia. And we're going to bring on Kelly from the University of Waterloo to ask her a question. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I do have a question. I really enjoyed your change thing where it included mindset, action, and attitude. I want to know if you feel that moving everything online to e-commerce and whatnot, if that is going to open up an equal opportunity for all businesses, and if not, what is something we can do to help ensure that there's equal opportunity for everyone who's transitioning to everything online?
I feel like as the era has changed, people are like somehow required and they are forced to have like a digital platform, especially when they have businesses. They are required to like open and like have their own technology way to promote their business and like to have and to spread their business through online. So I think it's like it's fair, and it just like if people doesn't have the opportunity to have it, it's just unfortunate because it's like the era has forced us to use technology somehow. Yeah, I think that's my answer.
All right. Thank you, Gracia. And we're going to bring on Professor Wang next. In honor of being the toughest questioner out there, we're going to give you the final question, Professor, in the Global Youth Challenge to Gracia. Make it a good one.
Thank you, James, for branding me being the toughest. I hope that doesn't carry too long. Thank you, Gracia. And so I'm just wondering, you talk about using digital means to overcome this isolation or sort of a gap for information flow during this very special kind of a situation. I'm just wondering, apart from using digital means, is there anything else in your opinion could also help us to overcome this kind of a disjunction of information flows? Because we're all facing remote kind of a teaching and everything. There are a lot of challenges. I'm just wondering whether in your opinion, there are other ways to allow us to deal with this kind of situation.
I personally think that there are two options. The first one is go digital, as what I said in the presentation, and the second one through connection. Like if you have like a lot of connection, you can spread and broadcast your information you have or your business even to your fellow friends or to your connections. Like through that, you can easily advertise what are your thoughts, what's your business, or what are you updated to, and yeah, so like other than technology, you can also use your connection to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gracia, and thank you, challengers, for your presentations to the judges. Everyone did an absolutely wonderful, wonderful job, and I want to thank all of you and for your presentations, for your time, for your efforts. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And the scores have been sent in to the judges. And what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be calculating the scores, and we're going to be announcing the winners in a few minutes. So we need a little bit of time to allow our math people to calculate and see who will be the Global Youth Challenger champion. Now, for the $25,000 scholarship, we will be announcing the winner on June 28th. So if you are interested in the scholarship, there is still time to apply. Now, how do you apply and how do you qualify for the scholarship? Well, first, if you finish in the top 25% of the Global Youth Challenge, you can submit for the scholarship. And we will list the top 25% on the Global Youth website in the coming days. So watch for that. Secondly, you need to send us your transcripts for the past 2 years and a copy of your passport photo page as well. So the scholarship is being provided by the Arundel Academy, a private high school in Mississauga, just outside Toronto, and they have been gracious and been helping us here with the Global Youth Challenge and sponsoring this event. So thank you very, very much to the Arundel Academy for their support. While we're waiting for the scores to come through, let's talk with some of the judges and the challengers a little bit while we wait. Kelly, why don't you tell us what has impressed you the most about the 17 challengers that we have here today and their work?
Wow. I'm going to say the angle to which everybody has decided to come at this, whether that's through artwork, whether that's through concrete action to make a difference, and as well as through the racism lens. There's just been such and the fiction stories, there's just been such a range of ways that everyone has taken a look at what is happening. It's also made me realize that we absolutely are in this all together with everyone from all over the world. We're in a very different experience, but we are experiencing this all together. So it has been truly inspiring to hear everyone's interpretation of what is happening. And it makes me very excited as a human being to see the future of our world out here in front of me. So thank you very much for your submissions. And it is a very difficult time, I think, for a lot of us. But what I've gathered is that there's a lot of good out there and that there is good that can come out of this. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And thank you all. It has been a huge opportunity and I very much appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you very much. And I want to swing over here to Jocelyn, and I want to ask Jocelyn a question. Do you think these 17 competitors have the ability to get into Yale University? What do you think?
Of course. I think college, the application process, a lot of these are high school students, you're coming out on it. It's a really strange process, but I have faith in you. You've all shown that you are smart and bright and very motivated and have been so brave to share your thoughts so sincerely and put so much time into this. I would say, there's also take time to also, be a kid and to not put too much pressure on yourself. And I think as long as you try your best and sometimes don't let expectations get to you too much or pressure get to you too much. Think about what I think you guys are already started this. Think about how you want to make change in the world, who you want to be, what you want your role to be. And I think you're already on a great way, on a great path, and many good things will come your way. So good luck.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely. And I want to, bit of feedback there. I want to swing over to Ashraf, our first competitor there. Ashraf, you were right at the beginning of this contest. You've got to see all of the 16. And how do you think you did? How do you think you did out there?
Honestly, I was a little bit nervous, but I think I did well, and I'm really confident that I'm able to win. Thank you.
All right, yeah, no, that's fantastic. And how about Alice? Alice Yang, how do you think you did?
Honestly, in my opinion, I'm not actually too concerned about the results because obviously it's already in, but it's the fact that I've had this great opportunity to be in front of you all, although virtually, and really share my opinion, my message, because my thoughts about racism and world politics and how the world is working right now. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time. I've had heated conversations with my parents and my friends about this. And it's just been a great opportunity just to be here and just say it to the judges who've had a lot more experience than probably me. So, and it's great to get feedback and hear other people's thoughts about what's happening with COVID-19. And it's just been a great experience overall. So no matter what happens in the end, good job to all of us.
Yes, good job to everybody. Thank you, Alice. Very well spoken. And let's take a look at our People's Choice voting and see how we're doing over there. Let's check in one final time with our live voting. And still we have Ashraf still up there in the lead with Gracia Sharon catching up and Gracia Abadi. So the two Gracias are trying to catch you, Ashraf. Looking good. And there's still time to vote. We will still keep it open, and we're going to announce the People's Choice a little bit later in the show. So we're coming down to the final minutes of voting. So get your votes in at www.theglobalyouth.com website. And there is still a chance. So get your friends and families out there voting. I think we have over 2,600 votes and still growing. So get your votes in to see who will be our People's Choice. Let's check in with Colin, our judge from Brock University. Colin, what was your impression of the students' work?
Well, I was so impressed all around, initially reading them all, seeing the artwork, and then hearing the defenses, the responses today. It certainly leaves me feeling pretty positive and optimistic that if all of you leaders get involved in big leadership positions later on in your lives, whether that's in business and government or healthcare or whatever, that our world's going to be in a good place. So yeah, it's just really inspiring to see the kind of effort and thought put into these responses.
Well said. Absolutely. So much thought put in, so much effort. It was really tough to get down to the 17. I can tell you that much, Colin. It was very hard. Let's ask Alejandra. Alejandra, what was your impression of all the students' work?
Actually, it's pretty amazing to see how different perspectives of around the world. I'm impressed about all the effort and all the work of all people here. And I can agree with Colin about how it makes me be enthusiastic about the future we can create if we young leaders have this passion to try to change the world and to unify, because the world is about union and we shouldn't be divided by countries. We should be all trying to reach a positive world.
Absolutely, we should. That is well spoken, and I'm going to bring on George. George, what do you think was the biggest challenge for you as you looked through the finalists' work?
Well, that's an easy question because everybody was so good that it was really hard. I was just differentiating people by, 0.1%, and I'm just so impressed by the quality of the young people. And also, what is really interesting is how, although we're all from different countries, there was a very central theme to all of this. And so it really emphasizes the point of view of a world community, a community of people who can work together to really improve the lives of everybody.
Absolutely, yes. Very well said, George. Very, very well said. And let's take a look and ask, why don't we move on to Caroline Chen. Tell us a little bit, how did you feel about presenting today and talking to everybody about your artwork?
Seriously, I'm just so happy to be here because all these participants, they're just so motivated and so creative, and there's so much to learn for me. And I really think I learned a lot from this opportunity, and yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fantastic. Well done, well done. And we'll do one more. Connor Huang, why don't we check in with Connor and from the USA, and let's see, how did you feel about the students' work that you saw today?
I mean, I thought it was really amazing. I was really impressed to see how all these kids did such a great job. I mean, some of the artwork, it was just really amazing, and some of the stories they gave, I mean, it was just really cool just listening to some of what they did.
All right, thank you, Connor. Thank you so much. So I think I hear lots of buzzing around, and the judges have sent in their numbers, and the tabulations have begun, and we are ready to announce the winners of the Global Youth Challenge. Is everybody excited? Don't forget, we still have time. We still have time for you to vote. All right, so please go on and vote. We're going to keep it open for just a few more minutes, okay? And then we're going to close it off. So get your votes in now. We have almost reached 3,000 votes, so we need to get those votes in. So we're going to ask my my co-host over there to share the screen for what we're breaking it down to is our third place winners. We're going to have our third place winners, then our second place winners, and then our first place winner. There will only be one first place winner, but we're going to start with our third place winner. And coming in at third place, Xian Liu. All right, congratulations, Xian. He was the 11-year-old boy from China. So inspiring. Well done. Congratulations. And we certainly were inspired by your work. Well done, Xian, coming in at third place. All right, next we have, go ahead, our next winner in third place, Ashraf Khalil from Tunisia. Well done, Ashraf. Congratulations. And I absolutely loved your video presentation. And I know that we were all very, very inspired by your work. And great job. Okay, next we have Ashan Aminga from China, and I hope I got that right. Congratulations, very well done, and we appreciate your efforts as well. Next, our next third place winner, Fanny from Sweden. Thank you, Fanny. That was a wonderful job and a wonderful presentation, and congratulations for all of your hard work. All right, next third place winner, Yu Chao Yang from Toronto. Congratulations, Yu Chao. You are the next third place winner. Yu Chao was very worried about his hair. And Yu Chao, I can tell you, your hair was amazing. It was amazing. Better than mine. So well done. All right. Congratulations, Yu Chao. Next, third place winner. We have Hao Liu from Vietnam. Congratulations, Hao. And you did very, very well. We have your artwork was inspiring, and your presentation of your artwork was also inspiring. And our next third place winner is Gracia Sharon from right here at the Arundel Academy. Gracia from Indonesia. Congratulations, you are a third prize winner. And I think, is that all we have for the third prize? Or do we have one more? Or is that the last one? That was our last one. All right, that was our last one. We're going to move to our second prize winners, but we are going to close the voting. We are going to close the voting for the online voting. So we're going to close that down, and we want to get our final People's Choice winner. Oh, I'm sorry, there was one more third place winner, and that was Amber Wang. Sorry about that. One more third place winner. So I think we're done with the third place winners. Yes? All right. So my team says, yes, we are good to go with the third place winners. All right. So now we're moving on to second place. We have closed the voting. So we are closing the voting for the online People's Choice Award. And I'm going to check in with that voting as well. All right. So voting has been closed. I'm checking over here. Voting has been closed for the online voting. Can we confirm that? I want to bring up the scores for the People's Choice Award, and to check in to see who our winner is for the People's Choice Award. And I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you who is our winner. This year, the Global Youth Challenge 2020 People's Choice Award winner, Ashraf Kalal. You started strong, and you never gave up. Gracia Sharon, you did well. Gracia Abade, you did well as well. And Ashraf, congratulations for being the People's Choice winner for the Global Youth Challenge. And you were very inspiring with your video, as I mentioned, and congratulations on being the People's Choice winner. All right, so let's move on. We had over 3,000 votes, so that's fantastic. So congratulations. We're going to move on to our second place winners. So we have 5 second place winners and then our first place winner. All right, so we're waiting for those results to come in. And can we get those results from our co-host? Just need to share the screen. Tell us who is our second place winner. All right, can we get that screen on there? Show us. Here it comes. Waiting for that to pop up. Alice Yang. Congratulations, Alice, from out in Edmonton, Canada. You are one of our second place winners. Congratulations. And I know she's a wonderful speaker. All right, next we have, go ahead, co-host, Gracia Abadi. All right, congratulations, Gracia. You are also a second place winner. Well done. All right, we're moving down to the 7th position here. Go ahead. Noor Hassan. Congratulations, Noor. You are one of our second place winners from Egypt. And it was an inspiring piece as well. Getting closer to our top 5. Here is number 6 and a second place winner. Go ahead, co-host. Who is it? Alejandra Sanchez. Alejandra, a great presentation and wonderful, wonderful work. And just outside the top 5, but a fantastic job and wonderful words. Thank you, Alejandra. And now we're heading into our top 5. Lin Pham finishing in 5th place and one of our second prize winners from Vietnam. Wonderful job, Lynn, and very well spoken. And congratulations to Lynn and to the study group out there in Vietnam for supporting Lynn through this process. All right, heading into 4th place and another second place prize winner, Eleonora from Italy. Eleonora, well done. Congratulations. Very inspiring words and very well spoken. And congratulations. So we're heading into our top 3 challengers now. top 3 challengers. These are the top 3 challengers who have scored the best rankings by the judges. So we're heading into our next second place winner, and it is going to be Connor Huang from the USA. Connor, well done. 3rd place in the 3rd place overall, and one of our second prize winners and in the Global Youth Challenge. Very well spoken. You have a job on television or radio somewhere with that voice of yours. Fantastic. All right. So we're down to our final 2 competitors, and it is going to be Xu Jinju from China is 2nd place. So our champion is going to be Caroline Shen. Congratulations with a score of 89.5. Caroline, with your amazing artwork. Caroline, you are the winner of the Global Youth Challenge. Congratulations. And that is so fantastic. We're very, very excited, and we want to bring you on here, Carolyn. So can you stop sharing there for a minute, my co-host? And let's bring on Caroline. You are the champion with that amazing piece of artwork. And Caroline, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Congratulations.
I'm kind of shocked right now. I'm like tearing up. You can see my tears right here.
Yeah, that's so well done. That's fantastic. So
Wow.
This is the artwork that Caroline did, and it was a wonderful piece of artwork and a wonderful video. Caroline, what do you want to say to the judges? What do you want to say to the people out there watching about COVID-19, about what's happening in the world, and how your art piece can really help to heal and change the world? Go ahead, Caroline. This is your moment.
First of all, I really just want to say thank you so much to the judges, and really thank you for giving me this opportunity. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here right now. And I really did put a lot of effort and time into this art piece because we just started online school, right? And there was definitely a lot of stress from school, and I had to learn how to manage my time because I'm in China right now, but I'm studying in Canada. So I have to stay up from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. to do my online classes. So I definitely learned how to manage my time better. And I took time out to do this artwork. And at first I wasn't really that motivated because I was like, oh, is this gonna be worth it? But then it turns out it's really worth it. I definitely learned a lot by doing this art piece. Like I said, thank you so much. And to everyone out there still under quarantine and still trying to figure out a better way to live under this situation, I just want to say, make this an opportunity to learn, really, because under this situation, like Alice have said, we're actually learning a lesson that we have never learned before. And for my generation, I just want to say, treat this as an opportunity and don't be so pessimistic, be more optimistic. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Caroline. Amazingly well spoken, well said, and a well deserving award, and a fantastic representative of the Global Youth Challenge 2020 COVID-19. And I'm reading some of the chat messages here, Caroline, from your other challengers, and it's so inspiring. They're so encouraging, and I'm so proud of all of the challengers for all of their amazing hard work. And I want to thank the judges as well for all of your hard work. I know it turned out to be a bigger task for the judges than we originally thought it was going to be. And because the work is so amazing, and the judges were very wonderful and gracious with your time, and we appreciate that. We also want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show here and watching our live broadcast and voting online. And we appreciate that very much. And we want to thank the Arundel Academy and Paul Poo, who was the director of this entire program, who put it all together, who was the inspiration behind the Global Youth Challenge. And he is an inspiring force, and we want to thank him for all of his efforts, all of his guidance as well. And thank you to the Arundel Academy for your sponsorship. There is still time for you to get your scholarship application in, and watch for the top 25% coming out in the next week, the top 25% list, and you will qualify for the scholarship opportunity. Send in your transcripts, send in your information to us, and let's see who will win that scholarship. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you very much, challengers. Once again, thank you, judges. And we'll see you next year on the 2021 Global Youth Challenge.